everyone, and welcome to Marketing Mindset. Today, for our very first episode, we're excited to interview Jenny Reineck, the social media manager at NCR Voyix.
Historically, when we would do the one-off campaigns, they would usually be on LinkedIn. So that was like where most of my experience was with paid advertisements on LinkedIn. And it's also very easy to get super specific about the audience that you're targeting on LinkedIn. Since our goal was brand awareness, we were putting paid ads on Meta. We even did an ad campaign on Reddit for a few months. So I got to learn about all the different ad platforms in each of those social networks. How they do their targeting is all very different depending on who you're trying to target and with what. And then also because I had a seat at the table for the overall brand campaign, I really got to see how paid social fit into the overall campaign, and I got a glimpse at least at like what we were doing with paid search and display ads and geo-targeted ads, and we did some podcast ads. I even got to help like write the copy for some of the podcast ads. What I love about social media is that it has the ability to create community. People should gather around topics that they're interested in rather than around people they're interested in. And that's why I love Reddit. That's why Reddit is probably one of my favorite social platforms. Create these online spaces where people can feel like they're part of a community and like reach out to their community and get support from their community. And so that's what I wish were different about social media. And then I think if we could get there, then brands have an opportunity to show up, like I was saying, more authentically in that space. Because if we are creating a community where everyone is like supportive and helpful, then brands can show up in the spaces where they're actually needed the most. Especially in the B2B space, I feel like what is really a key to success is focusing on the customer, especially when it comes to your B2B marketing, telling your customers stories. There's a lot of pressure internally when you work in marketing to talk about the company, which really means like talking about yourself. And it's like, okay, people don't want to hear you talk about yourself. They want to hear you talk about them and their problems and the solutions to their problems. And they want relevant content and something that they can relate to. And if you're just talking about yourself, they're not necessarily going to relate to that. So it's definitely something that we are trying to do more and more of is tell our customers stories. And because we are fortunate enough to get to work with retail stores and restaurants, we have a ton of customers that have great stories. So we really like to tap into that, especially when people have realized their dream of opening up their own restaurant or owning their own retail store. And we want to be able to share those stories with our audience as well. When you are focused on the customer and telling your customer stories, I think you will win. Ultimately, what everyone at NCR Voyix wants to see, whether they work in marketing, HR, finance, product, sales, engineering, we all want our customers to succeed. And if we can feel like we helped them succeed, mission accomplished, because their success is our success. AI can do so much more than create. It can summarize, it can consolidate, it can edit, it can make suggestions. And I was at a conference a few years back and someone was saying that they put their social media listening data or their social media metrics into an AI engine and said, summarize this for me and tell me what the key learnings are from this data. And I remember that moment because I was like, mind blown. I was like, it never occurred to me to use an AI engine that way because I was only wondering what it could help me create rather than me like feeding it a ton of data or info and then helping me to like draw conclusions from it. With marketing in general, it is critical to have data because we can't prove our value as marketers to the organization without data. The marketing team spends a lot of money, but it also has the ability to make the company a lot of money if we have the data to prove it. So, data is extremely important in my day to day. On a smaller scale, just with me and my team member, metrics, social, organic performance, those are numbers that I look at every single day, interpreting the data and making strategic content decisions. So, like, okay, what's working for us that we should lean into more? And what's not working for us that maybe we should back away from, as well as qualitative data, right? So like when we look at our social listening tool, what are people saying? You know, what are they saying? How can we join the conversation? Should we join the conversation? So there's all sorts of data that we look at regularly to optimize what we're doing and make sure that what we're doing is successful and we're not just spinning our wheels and, going through the motions. My secret sauce is definitely having the right tools in place. So we have tools that we use to, manage all of our social media, to measure all of our social media, to listen to what people are saying on social media, and having a tool that you like and that you are familiar with and that you know the ins and outs of. I think that is the true secret sauce because I would be nothing without my tools. So it's important when you're out shopping for tools and you're getting demos that you partner with a tool that can really help you succeed. And then just personally, my secret sauce would probably be having a good sense of humor about everything and not taking life too seriously. Beyond Meat is hilarious on Threads. Love them. On TikTok, everyone loves Duolingo. Duolingo's great. Slim Jim also has a killer commenting strategy on TikTok. Love everything Amtrak does. They do some really funny stuff. And kind of a niche one that I don't think most people would say is Regions Bank. I got to know the people who work on their social media through like a social media organization that I'm a part of. And because of that, I just started following them on Instagram and I was like, oh, I really love what they're doing.